All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Wayne Dupree Show. It is our Friday, your Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. It is a wonderful thing. Wait, that's right, it is. I thought for some reason in my head, something said it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's our Friday, your Thursday. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, that's right, Kat. We are broadcasting on Red Voice Media Network. I want to thank everybody that is tuned in on the Red Voice Media Network. We broadcast there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We have such great voices on this network. It's not even funny. You know, y'all talk about, we don't have no place. Fox News, and I love. You have a place to go now. It's called the Red Voice Media Network. They broadcast every goddamn day. Let me introduce my awesome friends, family members, brothers in the cause that join me every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The Godfather of conservative radio in the Northern Command, in the hills of the Alleghenies, Mr. Hutch Bailey Jr.
Well, thank you, Wayne, for that fine introduction. Ready to get down to business on this beautiful Friday, your Thursday.
Whatever day it is.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. This brother's getting ready to go on a trip.
He just sent us a picture. He's got his truck. Is that a golf cart or a four-wheeler?
My camp Cadillac.
God.
Oh,
that's my camp Cadillac.
God.
That is beautiful.
Yeah. But, ladies and gentlemen, let me also introduce the round out the team from the man from Muslim Soda. I mean, the man that is, we're talking about holding down the state from being taken over by the transgenders, the Muslim sodas, the crazies, the against the people that hate the police. We're talking about Mr. J.R. Robinson, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, yeah, thanks for tuning in, folks. Our Friday or Thursday. Hey, before we get into the show, though, Wayne, I got to ask everybody for a favor quick. So it's interesting. First of all, for those watching us on Red Voice Media and their Rumble channel, thank you so much. And some folks that are seeing us for the first time because we're filling in for Matt Couch, prayers to Matt Couch. Sounds like he's getting part of his leg amputated, which is terrible.
Through some trouble. Yeah, prayers to him is right.
Yeah, so make sure you keep Matt Couch in your prayers. For those watching us on some of our other channels, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Cozy, all that, do us a favor, like, comment, share. And it's interesting, yesterday and today, you can really kind of see the suppression coming on the live viewers. And I got a bunch of notes on my pages like, oh, I didn't get notified. I didn't know the show was on, that sort of thing. And that happens. And especially when you talk about conservative things or anti-establishment things like we do, best thing you can do to help support the show, like, comment, share. It increases engagement and helps us beat the algorithm. So thanks for tuning in. Today's going to be a hot show. We got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about. So
that's right.
Oh, there it is.
Finally got him. Wait.
No. That was Hutch's. That was Hutch's packed up and ready.
It's not fair to talk about something I had to show the folks.
Well, yeah.
I had to blow it up while you were talking. That's why I missed it, because man, that's a badass truck you got. That looks
you see that Antifa bar on the front?
I know.
Oh,
I was like, man, that looks like the thing that carried us around the GOP convention a couple years ago. That man, there's nerve.
I want to see what the outpost looks like. Like, are there gun turrets? Are there like mines? Are there moats dug around?
There ain't no turrets, but there's guns.
I'm envisioning like barbed wire and stuff.
Give it time.
I just
ordered a garage this morning from an Amish dude.
I I want to make sure. I want to make sure it didn't have a license a tag on it. But yeah,
Look at that.
look,
Sure.
when you
Not-
see that coming down the highway, boy, that's bad.
That's a 5-ton winch on the front of that too.
Jesus,
9,500 pounds.
that is
Almost.
nice, Hutch.
So
sure.
we're all going to Hutch's when the apocalypse hits.
Oh yeah, that's right. And you know what too? Another thing I was looking at. That's a nice fence back there too. I got a raggedy fence myself, but
That's just one piece. That's a privacy fence because behind that, my wife's pool.
okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's a Walmart pool. Let's get real now.
Okay. All right. Talking about somebody drowning. Finally got that son of a gun, didn't we?
Kind of.
So, sort of.
I said I'm torn.
I am too. I'm because I had a friend call me last night and they were like, "What do you think of the censure?" I was like, "Does that do anything?" You know, I was like,
A strongly worded memo that he's going to use to campaign for the Senate.
and he's already doing it. He's already raising money. And he's not the first. MTG raised a whole lot of money when she got kicked off those committees. And that's why she can go around and call people bitches on the House floor.
She's acting crazy, man.
what's
That's
going on with her?
That's not becoming, man. I mean, stop it.
Jeez.
Having cat
Yeah.
fights.
Egg, man. And you know
She
what?
has lost her damn mind.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, the Daily Beast reported it, and take it for what it's worth. But when you look at the photo of the woman on the House floor, she was in Bobert's face. I was like, oh, that didn't look kind of cool. That looked weird. That looked like somebody was getting reamed. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, well, and if I can find it, I show it.
I was trying to find the 6 Republicans that didn't vote against her. I mean, didn't vote to censor him. There's 6 of them, and I saw it earlier, but I can't remember where I saw it.
Didn't vote to
Well,
censor.
Voted president.
We should just explain for the audience too. So the original censor motion that came up last week would involve a censure is basically you get hauled in front of the House. The Speaker of the House reads a naughty note about what you did, and then it proceeds to an ethics investigation. So really, unless the ethics committee is going to do something, which I don't think they will, it's the equivalent of a naughty note. Paul Gosart was the last member of the House in 2010 who got censured, and really it didn't impact his life in any meaningful way. Last week, what Paulina tried doing, which give it up for her, brand new member of the House, 7 months pregnant, and she makes it happen. But her motion last week included a $16 million fine to Adam Schiff that was going to because that was half of the Russiagate investigation costs. And then a bunch of Republicans are like, whoa, that's too much. So it's a good first step. And for a new member of the House to make this happen is pretty encouraging. But until he's in Gitmo, like till we're getting the handcuffs, I don't really care. Oh, here we go.
Yeah. I had a video for it, but I was like, okay, well, I mean, if that's what you want to do, but then it always goes to show me, I'm like, okay, are you jealous that other people are getting the shine?
That's the way it looked to me.
That's what it is.
I mean, yeah, you did the impeachment thing and nobody was around you. I understand. You wanted to do it in front of the cameras. And no, actually, you want to do it in front of the press and nobody's behind you. Okay. She did, and Bobert and some other guy. See, what gets me is that some other guy did it last week. I can't remember the name, but some other guy did it last week.
I remember that.
And he did it on the House floor too. And Bobert did it on the House floor, but she decided she was going to go after Bobert right in her face. I'm like, oh, okay, that's a jealous thing. Number one, you're jealous because she looks better than you. And then number two,
there's another dynamic to this too.
What's
When
that?
they did the rules changes when they elected McCarthy, McCarthy, if he would have just got elected on the first ballot and they wouldn't have changed any of the rules, you would never see that. McCarthy wouldn't allow an impeachment vote to come up. They had to use a privileged motion to bypass leadership and come to the floor, and the House has to vote on it.
Right.
So to me, I thought the 16 million was ridiculous myself, because what are you going to do? Start fining every congressman that does? I mean, it's a divided House.
Yeah.
So one side is not going to agree. Well, put it this way: the Democrat side is never going to agree with anything we do. We have turncoats on our side that will agree with them, but they will never do it for us. They're at war with us, and we're not at war with them. That's the problem. 6 Republicans voted present yesterday on the Schiff censure. Representatives David Joyce of Ohio, Michael Guest of Mississippi, Andrew Garbarino of New York, Ken Buck of Colorado, John Rutherford of Florida, and Michael Fischbach of Minnesota. 5 of them are on the committee that the censure got referred to ethics. 5 of those people are in the ethics committee. So whoever's going to overlook or look at what Schiff did, you got to wonder, is that some kind of a tactical maneuver so they could do it, or are they with Schiff? Ken Buck won't do it. Marjorie Taylor Greene called him out by name yesterday when she said she was going to do an impeachment privilege motion because Ken Buck won't do anything.
Yep.
So it's getting, there's going to be infighting in the Republican Party because it's compromised. It has to happen. So.
This is an interesting one. Eric Hunter, thanks for tuning in, Eric. He just said the ones that voted present are also on the ethics committee.
That's what
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I just said that.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it. Right now, the Prime Minister of India, I think,
Modi.
Yeah, is let's see. Where did I just download that to? Don't you hate that? I mean, I changed a couple things. Downloads, okay. It's in the downloads. The Prime Minister of India is over here on our soil, and is it's not there. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. And I want you to see what Joe Biden is doing. Ladies and gentlemen, what just happened was Joe Biden thought they were playing the national anthem. So he put his hand up over his heart. Then he realized they were playing the India anthem, and then he had to bring it down. It's like, okay, all right. I saw this Indian Prime Minister with Xi a couple of weeks ago. See, I understand what the U.S. government is trying to do. They're trying to work around. They're trying to pick these world leaders off one by one. They're not doing it all together. They're trying to show, one by one. They just talked to Xi a couple of days ago. Again, I still think that, I'll talk to Nicole about this in a second, but they came back and then they act like they were Billy Badasses once again when he came back, calling him a dictator. Wouldn't say it to his face though. Probably mad because, like I said, Trump got steak, they got hot dogs. But the U.S. government right now is trying to get these leaders back on their side. Okay. This right here is an attempt, but these leaders really don't. What is it? They really don't trust.
They don't care.
they don't respect this man right here. They really don't. Looks like he's having a little stroke. I'll tell you the truth. So I mean, when I look at that, I'm like, okay, well, that's how we see it. Now, I'm not privy to exactly what is going on in the White House, but I'll tell you one thing: you can't go around treating people like crap, and then all of a sudden you invite them to the house and put on this big extravaganza type of thing, hoping, well, they're gonna be on that side now because they can do the same thing to you that you just did to Xi. When they get back over to India, yeah, Biden's breath stunk, man. That food was nasty, the bathroom was filthy, and there's a whole lot of transsexual stuff on the White House lawn. What was that stuff about? So there you go. I mean, we I've been saying it for a while. We need to shut the government down, federal government, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, honestly, at this point, until Donald Trump can be reelected, yeah, and until Donald Trump can be reelected, maybe they should just shut down the White House. There's another guy that just jumped into the White House race. Heard
from Texas.
You know what? President Trump, don't get out. Please don't get out. Please don't get out. Because right now, somebody's smelling some blood in the water.
Did you hear your ex-governor, Hogan, what he said?
No.
He said the DeSantis campaign's toast.
Did he really?
He said they dropped like a rock. He expects it to be over any day now. He said it's the worst campaign he's ever seen. Now, I don't have a whole lot of respect.
Hogan said that.
Yeah.
Did you see what just came out too? The video for DeSantis when they asked him if he would support Trump if he's the nominee, and he refused to answer.
Did he?
Yeah, I just saw it this morning. I'm like, whoa. Technically, that should disqualify him from doing the Fox debate.
It should.
Well, did you hear about the golf course?
No.
What about the golf course?
Ron DeSantis, I'm looking it up right now. A donor bought a pricey golf simulator.
Oh, yeah.
For Ron DeSantis. And DeSantis didn't declare it, or, he didn't,
I know in a primary we're against DeSantis, but man, the Democrat machine, we're the only people to get nailed for stuff like that.
I know. Yeah.
I'm tired of this. Georgia's not even updating their Dominion machines.
Right.
We're giving this sucker right away again. Right in front of us. And nobody's doing anything about it. And you still got people thinking that the GOP is the savior.
You know what, though? I think it's not right. And I know, JR, you've been on that kick lately about the other side, I mean, keeping it even and stuff. But, when I moved over from the Democrat Party, all I kept hearing was that Republican Party was morals were a whole lot higher. They were the adult in the room, So when people did things, you wouldn't expect the Republicans to do what the Democrats do, because they were like, man, they too high and mighty. They it's above them to even do stuff like this, and so to get called out on this, though, you have to realize that all eyes are going to be on you if you decide you want to run for president of the United States, and somebody's going to give you a pricey golf simulator, and you have to declare. You have to. Why hide it? But okay, well, guess what? The Dems do it. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
I was going to say, I think that's the trap Republicans fall into. It's like if you got a line of cars and everybody's driving 70 miles an hour in a 55, you're going to drive 70 miles an hour in a 55. And then one poor sucker is going to get pulled over out of that line and get a ticket. The problem is the one that keeps getting pulled over is the Republicans.
Right.
And I think that's why Republicans fall in the trap. They're like, oh, yeah, I mean, look at how many corrupt things they do on the left. And so then they let their moral compass slip or they let things happen that shouldn't, you know.
But you know what? The problem with that, well, it's not the problem with that, but if people are getting tired of police pulling over Republicans, they need to vote in a new police officer.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
I said that's the top priority if he gets elected as the DOJ. You got to kill that thing.
You got to.
He's got to be pulling a China shop. He's got to fire a third of the federal government.
I agree. And he's going to have resistance all along the way from the unions and everything else. He knows that now.
You know, yesterday I had a couple of videos about John Durham, you know, how it seemed like he was standing up to the Dems and stuff. The more I looked at some of those videos yesterday afternoon and looked at the Republicans call out John Durham, I was like, okay. Thank you.
Gates did a great job.
Oh, he did a tremendous.
Gates was excellent.
He did a tremendous job.
And they say I didn't catch it, but they say that another guy did too. I can't remember who it was, but there was another guy that.
Yeah, they called her out. You're like, wait a minute. You said the FBI this, the FBI that. I mean, and sort of they backed him up into a corner. You said that. Yep. Yes. Okay, so why didn't you prosecute them?
You talked to his lawyer? You could find his lawyer, but you couldn't find him?
Right.
You got his phone, but you couldn't find the guy?
Right.
I thought the way he answered that, well, they didn't want to testify.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you looked at how many people he didn't talk to in the course of the investigation, it's like this was just a show. I mean,
and if Dems were angry that the Republicans were going along with that line of questioning yesterday afternoon, I've seen many court cases to say this to them, where you open up the line of questioning. You open up that line of questioning. Hank Johnson, all y'all open that line of questioning. Well, you spent $6 million, and all you prosecuted was 3 people. And y'all open up that can of worms. So what do you expect? Yes. Now we're gonna say, well, since it was only 3, why didn't you do more? Why didn't you bring more to the table? See, if we go back to the beginning of this thing, I mean, I know a lot of people were like, oh yeah, it's 250,000 invisible indictments and stuff, and secret indictments. Oh man, Durham's. I was like, y'all ain't gonna see nothing about this. Y'all not gonna see nothing from Durham. Nobody's gonna get in trouble.
Here's the thing, too. The Uniparty got what they wanted out of Durham. The left got some great campaign clips. Adam Schiff, Ted Lieu, Jerry Nadler, they gave their little speech talking about Russia, which honestly, if you look at the intro, like Durham wasn't supposed to talk about any of that stuff. And the Republicans, Jim Jordan and all those guys, they got their clips. So you're saying it was corrupt and there was no reason to start it. Both sides of the Uniparty got exactly what they wanted. They got campaign stuff. If you're subscribed to left or right camp fundraisers, you already got the email yesterday. We own the Republicans. We own the Democrats. And both are right. Like both sides got good speeches that they can clip 5 minutes out of and send out in a campaign thing. And for people that didn't sit through the whole thing, people on the left who consume mainly left-wing media, they think that that Dems just mopped the floor with Durham. People who consume only right-wing media think they mopped the floor. You know what I mean? Matt Gaetz probably had the most honest approach, which is this is just nothing. Like you failed.
And really, you have to understand what the congressional hearings purpose is in the government. The purpose of those hearings is to fake you out.
Right.
Is to make you think that somebody gives a damn about law and order when they don't.
Yep.
Mission was totally accomplished. Like you just said, both sides got their sound bites, and 80% of the country thinks that it's solved.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Wayne Dupree podcast here on the Red Voice Media Network. Don't forget to follow them on Rumble. Go over to rumble.com/Red Voice Media. We usually broadcast there from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We want to thank them for allowing us to broadcast. They're taking our feed and they're broadcasting you live from 12 to 1:30 in place of Matt Couch. So this week. So, we want to make sure that the prayers are up. When we come back, we're going to have our sister, our awesome sister from the new federal state of China. We want to talk about some police things that are going on and find out the latest update on Miles Guo, the Miles Guo movement, and the new federal state of China. We are America Radio.
Just a little inside baseball. If you're watching on Getter, if you look at the live stream announcements for Matt Couch, if you hit that, you'll see this show right now.
Really?
I just had to verify that. Yeah.
Okay. Bet. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's terrible what's happening to Couch. I'll be curious what happened. He's got all these blood clots everywhere. So it sounds like today they're amputating him from the knee down. So
I thought it was a knee up.
Above the knee.
Above the knee. So yeah, so from right above the knee down.
And that's not even the end of the problem. That's just the first step. So
yeah, that's
pray for the man.
Prayers for him. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll be right back.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets, sleepwear, dog
Whoa, Charles. Everyone now can get MyPillow products at huge discounts at MyPillow.com. That's right. Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our 3-in-1 sale. We're bringing you exciting new products, overstock specials, and closeout deals you won't find anywhere else. For example, when you buy one of our brand new MyPillow 2.0s, you get another one absolutely free. And with our overstock sale, you save 50% on our luxurious Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.99 for the best sheets ever. And with our biggest closeout special, you get our all-season slippers for only $35. Or our sandals and slides for just $25. Quantities are limited, and once they're gone, they're gone.
It's a crazy world out there, and we're facing more uncertainty than our country has faced in a long time, if ever. And the most important advice that we can give you and your loved ones is be prepared. Most people don't realize they need something until it's too late, whether it's a natural disaster, a sustained power outage, political upheaval, or God forbid, war. You need to be prepared. Don't put yourself in that situation. Have food and water on hand to provide for you and your loved ones during the worst of times, and then pray you never need it. Thankfully, we have just the solution for you. Heaven's Harvest has everything you need to prepare for the unexpected. You get prepared, and you support a pro-America Christian company that shares your values at the same time. Everyone wins. And the best news is, you also get discounts on emergency survival foods, heirloom vegetable seed kits, water filtration and storage kits, and loads of other survival resources, such as guides on how to grow and preserve your foods. So get ahead, be prepared, and survive with a company that shares your values. And we have you covered with great discounts. Go to heavensharvest.com and use promo code RVM to save 10%. Again, that's heavensharvest.com and use promo code RVM to save 10% on your order.
Governor, evaluate Ron DeSantis so far.
I think DeSantis has really underperformed. He started out, and we've seen this happen before in other races, but he was the one getting all the attention. He was wall-to-wall coverage on Fox News. He was the only one other than Trump that was really getting a lot of attention. He raised a ton of money. He was a fairly successful governor in a big state who got reelected. And then he started, making all kinds of mistakes. I think the campaign is one of the worst I've seen so far, and he's dropped like a rock. And so I think people started to say, well, maybe we're willing to consider someone other than Trump. They took a look at Ron DeSantis and then went back to Trump. So I think he dropped 18, 20 points in the polls, and now you're seeing other people rise up. And there were a whole bunch of people stuck in single digits. I was one of them. We were all statistically, within the margin of error of each other. There were 7 or 8 different people. One of them, I think, has a chance to surpass Ron DeSantis.
Is it over for DeSantis?
I think it's getting close to being over. I mean, you can always, you see comebacks. John McCain pulled a comeback and Bill Clinton pulled a comeback. But at this point, he's headed in the wrong direction.
And if you were to describe the central mistake he made, what would it be?
I think the culture wars, the dumb comments about Ukraine, the fact that he's got some strengths, but he's also got some weaknesses. I mean, he just doesn't connect with people. He's not a good campaigner. He's not a good debater. He's a smart guy. Went to Yale and Harvard.
Doesn't lead with that.
Yeah, he doesn't lead with that. Yeah, he says he went to school in the Northeast somewhere. I think, everybody was thinking he was the guy to beat, and now I don't think too many people think that.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the lovable former
Rhino.
governor of Maryland.
Rhino.
Yeah.
Warmonger Rhino.
Yeah, exactly. Nasty self.
When you're losing him, that's a bad sign.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, come to the stage is an awesome young lady that has joined the Wayne Dupree podcast. And we call her ours, even though she belongs to the new federal state of China. And we might not even let her go. We might just keep her on for a long time, period. But Nicole Tsai of the new federal state of China. What's up, sis?
Well, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. And this is one of my favorite time of the entire week to come here and chat with you guys about what's going on and what's the story behind the scene. And so John Durham, I think it's very hot news. And so my question is that where's the accountability? The people who are involved in lying to the American people and who have wasted millions of US taxpayer dollar on a phony investigation and all that time spent, all the money spent. And so where's the accountability? Those people did not have to spend a single day in federal prison.
Right.
They walked free, they got their pension, they got all the full benefits from the federal government.
Yep.
And it's the whistleblowers like Miles Guo who is trying to, expose the government power abuse and the CCP's infiltration and the collusion between the CCP and American sellout. He landed in federal prison without bail. So, the whole world is watching the Durham testimony, and all the exchanges really shocked the American people. He was appointed in 2019 and now it's 2023. And how can we prevent the next Russian hoax from happening to next year's election?
Mm-hmm.
What is your reaction? I'm dying to hear your thoughts and reactions.
Well, for me, Nicole, and I'm happy to have you back on once again too. But for me, I never thought anything was going to come from it in the first place. I thought that, I've always said the devil can't hurt himself. The devil can't, or the devil will never be accountable to himself for his own actions. So, if you asking the devil to go behind himself and to do a lessons learned by all the mistakes that he made and whatnot, he's going to come with a blank sheet. And when I saw Durham being put in charge of this thing, even though it came from Bill Barr, I was like, man, nobody's going to get in trouble. Nobody usually gets in trouble. And that sucks as being American, because when you look at it, you're like, you want people, if they do the American people wrong, and like you said, all that money, all the taxpayer money and stuff is getting spent, you want something to come out on the other side. Somebody's going to jail. Somebody's going to get disciplined. Somebody's going to lose something for what they did to the American people. And to see these people, just like you said, get off, not spend a day in jail. Miles has been in there since March. He has bail turned down a couple times. Most of his money is gone. His house or his apartment, his place burned down. So just them taking away his livelihood. And the judge comes out, like I said last week, and says, I just don't trust him. Anyway, that's something that you see in Hollywood in a movie type of deal, and it's happening right in front of our eyes.
And what about the misdemeanor small charges that Hunter Biden got from all of the things that he has done over the last several years? I mean, really.
You want me to talk about that? I'm a Christian. You want me to talk about that for real? You want me to really tell you? Go ahead.
Well, the thing about it is the thing that gets me the most is the federal gun charges.
Yeah.
Because there are thousands of Americans in federal prison because of that. And this guy walks. And it's right in the middle of these hearings. It's right in the middle of the stolen elections, of everything we know about Joe Biden. Unfortunately, back during the Obama administration, we realized that a congressional hearing is a theater. Congressional hearing is to make American citizens feel that somebody cares, that somebody's doing something in the government. Once that hearing's over, it's over. That's a substitute for real court. They go to the congressional hearing, like for instance with Benghazi, or with this one, or any of them down the line. They put the most photogenic people in Congress on those committees, the best actors, and they come out and they hail and brimstone and everything. And as soon as the hearing's over, next matter, that's done. We already had a hearing on that. We're not going to talk about that anymore. It's sad when you figure it out. Once you see that, everybody loves Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan getting an Academy Award. I mean, it was great. And he said the truth. They were telling the truth. They brought fire. The only thing that we can hope for is that more people understand. That's the bottom line.
So you have another guest joining us. Another guest joining us. Hello.
Hello, Cleo.
Hello, Kitty.
Yeah, I was going to say what's interesting, Nicole, too, is kind of the parallels with China. So, and you can speak to it better than we can, but in communist China, if you're part of the ruling power, you face no accountability for virtually any crimes you commit other than crimes against the party. So if you're, from what I understand, if you're a high-ranking CCP member, you can do dang near anything you want as long as you don't screw up the party or do something that'll get the population so mad. And if you're a commoner, you are held to the highest extent of the law. And what they've done, so in America, what they've done though is they've shifted the paradigm instead of those in power against those not in power as right or left. And they're hiding the fact that it's those not in power versus those in power. Yeah. Like, ain't nobody watching this show that had a federal gun charge that's going to get that same deal.
Nobody.
That Hunter Biden did.
Nobody.
But I guarantee you, if that was Nancy Pelosi's kid, if that was Mitch McConnell's kid, if that was Joe Biden's kid, if that was Kevin McCarthy's kid, they're getting that deal. And that's why they get us all fighting on the left and the right, so that we don't look up and go, the uniparty is tough. And I mean, in China, they do the appeasement to the populace where they're like, oh, we're going to, every now and then they throw up the sacrificial lamb to make them think they're holding the party accountable, but they're really not.
No.
So, and that's why it's important to have you on to help break that paradigm.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, spot on. You really nail it. In communist China or in any totalitarian regime, basically you can do anything and walk free without any accountability, so long as you don't challenge the people in power, the ruling party. And so, nobody cares. But if you are challenging the ruling party, be it politically or spiritually or religiously, then you became an immediate target of relentless political persecution. And so that is the hallmark, using the government agencies or state apparatus to go after political opponents. That is the hallmark of a totalitarian regime. But unfortunately and tragically, it's happening here in this country. And so do you remember when Trump was in the White House, when he was part of the ruling party, or does he punish his a political opponent in such a brutal way? No, he didn't do that.
Right.
But right now we're seeing that any political opponent to the Democratic Party or to the Biden administration has been brutally persecuted, and people lost a job, lost money, going to jail. And and Miles Guo, when he first came to this country, he was not against any political party in this country, and he's still not against any political party, including the Democratic Party. He was simply just opposing the CCP's infiltration in this country. He was just exposing the CCP's crimes against humanity, against the American people. And then he landed in federal prison without bail. And people who have paid tons of money to bribe the ruling party, they walked free, like the FTX co-founder, Sam Bankman-Fried. Federal prosecutor dropped quietly 5 charges against him. He was accused of a multi-billion-dollar fraud, scamming so many people. There's so many real victims, yet he got bailed out, and now he got less charges, and very likely he might just walk free. Because you know what? He paid $40 million to the Democratic Party as the second largest donor. And he also paid $40 million to a CCP official for bribery. And this kind of person can walk free without any accountability.
Oh, he paid money to Republicans too. They were just a lot cheaper than the Democrats.
Yeah.
Which is always like that. As Miles continues to sit in the New York jail or prison, where the balance or the imbalance of justice is so loud, especially for those of us that are watching. I was thinking about this for the last couple of days, especially with the John Durham thing coming on. Your voice, and hopefully we can help, but your voice and the voice of the new federal state of China needs to grow a whole lot louder, because there are people in DC, in the swamp, that hears you and they see you, and they're trying to drown your voice out. They don't want the American people to know about Miles Guo. That's why it hasn't hit the mainstream media. Oh, the mainstream media knows about it. They've seen it. They got people watching social media all the time. They got people. They got departments, probably 10 deep, of people on the computers all day long with their little cheese sandwiches and orange juice, sitting down there watching that on the back and forth and the links and stuff about what's going on with the Miles Guo situation. And you can't tell me that they don't know about it from a legal perspective, because he's been turned down twice. Mm-hmm. The positive stories about Miles is few and far between, even though they are out there. It's just that when you pull up his name, all the negative stories are at the top of the search, on the top of the search engines and stuff. We many times that you've been on here, we have championed y'all's cause, and we say keep on going. Tell our audience what it takes to keep on going, because I notice sometimes y'all are human. You have to feel, like the weight of
like we do.
Right.
The weight is coming down on you, and you're like, man, nobody's listening. No, but y'all have to. Where do you pull your strength from?
Well, our strength relies on our belief. I mean, we do believe America is one nation under God, and we believe God is present and he will do the justice. But at the same time, the biggest challenge for us is not just coming from Xi Jinping or the dictatorship in Beijing, but from this country. A lot of people have been influenced by so many bad or negative press coverages about Mao School and our movement. And a lot of people, they just didn't know much. And so sometimes we got misunderstood. For example, even people from the conservative side, they saw some media report and they are suspicious of Mao School and our movement. They say, you know what, Mao School, he has connections with the Chinese government security or intel community, so he must be representing the CCP interest. I mean, that is a total false narrative, because I mean, given this person, he was so successful. He was a billionaire in China. He gave up his $1 billion lifestyle to fight for the CCP. He's the CCP enemy number one. So, I mean, imagine during the Cold War, if you got a defector, a top defector from KGB or from the former Soviet Union, this guy must be a hero, right? Because he didn't have to sacrifice his own life. He didn't have to lose his $1 billion personal asset and wealth and property. He didn't have to be attacked by so many mainstream media. He didn't have to do any of this. Mao School, he could have lived a great life in communist China, because, nobody persecuted him if he didn't fight the ruling party. We talk about this. In communist China, you can do anything without any accountability, so long as you don't challenge the status quo, you don't challenge the ruling party. But Mao School, he's a rebellion. I mean, he wanted to take down the ruling party. Mm-hmm. And that's why he sacrificed his $1 billion lifestyle. He lost both of his parents to the persecution. He lost his younger brother to the CCP's police brutality. His wife and his daughter have been imprisoned. I mean, this guy, now he lost his personal freedom in America. So I don't blame people who have misunderstanding about our movement, because there are so many bad press coverages, all paid for by the CCP's apparatus. And that's why we need to, come out and just tell people, what it takes to fight the CCP. It means that you have to lose your property, you have to lose your reputation. Sometimes you have to lose your life. Yep. I mean, every day, his life is in danger. And every day, Mao School's followers and members of the NFSC were constantly being targeted by the weaponized DOJ and FBI, in addition to the CCP. So this is not an easy fight. And so that's why we hope more people will see through all the, mainstream media's bad coverage about Mao School and about our movement. Think about it. We didn't have to do this. If we are acting for the CCP's interest, we didn't have to be persecuted, right? Right. We should be sanctioned. We should be, we should be punished. We should, if we are acting for CCP's interest, we didn't have to face the persecution. Let's put it in this way.
Well, and it's although he hasn't suffered nearly as much as Miles Guo yet. It's very comparable to Donald Trump, who's trying to depose the ruling class here. And Nicole, let me say, we love having you on here because of your insight and your courage.
Yep.
But it's not just here. You're out there making the rounds. You're getting your voice out.
Right.
The other day, you were on the John Frederick show, and I want to flip this a little bit to something that you said there. You said that the CCP is involved in trying to jail President Trump. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, actually, it was Miles Guo who warned the American people 2 years ago in a live broadcast. He said he got the intel from within the China sources that the CCP would do everything in their power to stop President Trump from his 2024 presidential bid. Why? Because Trump is the most hated US president to the CCP. In the last several decades, American presidents are all the darlings to the CCP, be it Clinton, Obama, or even George W. Bush and Bush Jr., because they adopt the same policy toward the CCP, and that is called the appeasement policy or the panda policy, embracing the CCP and be friendly with the CCP and be in the same bed with the CCP. But Trump is a real exception. He confronted the CCP on so many levels, and that's why he's very hated. And the CCP recognized that Trump is a disruptor to their infiltration in the United States of America. So basically, Trump was trying to stop CCP from further infiltrating in this country, and that's why the CCP does not want President Trump to be a presidential candidate for 2024. And the CCP has placed assets within the DOJ, the FBI, the federal government agencies inside the Washington's permanent political establishment. And so they have the same goal. They want to stop Trump. And so Miles Guo predicted that Trump will be indicted, and Steve K. Bannon would also be indicted. He also predicted himself will be indicted and jailed.
Mm.
That's crazy. And I think Americans don't see it because we live in this left versus right paradigm where Republicans and Democrats fight against each other, and they don't realize that the entire ruling class, all of those politicians are getting paid off by China. And so it's crazy. But it's interesting when you were talking about their expansion, their infiltration. Did I see news this week that Cuba thing with the police station in Cuba is actually getting bigger, and that's really going to happen?
Yeah, the CCP's military expansion has never stopped for a single second. And their military surveillance station in Cuba, Bahamas, and Latin America has been accelerating. And so I applaud Congressman Matt Gaetz for asking the U.S. to use military force to remove CCP spying operation from Cuba to avoid a military confrontation. But you know what? The CCP's infiltration has been like long planted. Mm-hmm. It's not just in Cuba, but also in other parts of the Latin America. And the Belt and Road Initiative has allowed the CCP to infiltrate not only in the Western hemisphere, but also globally in Europe and Central Asia. So Rome is not built overnight. And the CCP has really been infiltrating and expanding its global dominance for several decades. And now America is just waking up. So how can you confront the CCP on so many levels? I would start from within. Hold the American sellout, people who are inside the federal government agencies who have been aiding and abetting the CCP. Hold them accountable first. Start cleaning your own house from within first before you can tackle all the external problem. Because when you have so many Trojan horses, so many internal threats inside the most powerful positions within the government agencies, this country has big problem. And their threat, the danger of their threat to the America's national security is far greater than the Cuba's spying operation.
You know, before I let you go, it almost seems like they're trying to surround us. You know, I mean, because you know, you talk about the Cuba thing, we see some coming in through the southern border, northern border, infiltrated through the U.S. government, buying up land within the United States of America. And they're doing it, like you said, strategically, but they've been doing it for a long time. It's almost like how the U.S. media or the two political parties has done to America. They've done it slowly, methodically, not all at once. To you know, because you know, if you do something all at once, then people are like, wait, hold on. But if you do it real slow, like you said, CCP has been doing it for such a very long time.
Yeah,
people don't see it. People don't see it, and then you just said, but you know, America wakes up and they see it, but by that time, it's right in their face. I'm so glad that you are a bullhorn for all of this right now. I'm for real, because I can see us right now. If we had never met y'all, we would never even be talking about this. We would not. I'm telling you point blank, we would not be so educated on this. And I'm sure the other two probably will say the same thing. Even when we're looking for news now, we look at what the CCP is doing.
Yeah, you do the search for China. It's like, that's why I was asking about the assets. Matt Gaetz introduced or is talking about a resolution to remove the CCP assets from Cuba. It's like, man, when Russia went to go into Cuba years ago, we almost started a nuclear frickin' war about it.
yeah.
And it's not even being covered
Nope.
anywhere, not even Fox.
Nope.
I mean, I haven't
public
watched
school
Fox, but
system.
yeah.
Thank your school system for that.
Yep.
Right.
No, I mean, what about the spy balloon? We allowed it. This administration allowed the spy balloon to fly over the continent for days.
The Chinese Communist Party got America's gyroscope navigation technology for our intercontinental ballistic missiles. How did that happen? It happened under President Clinton.
Yeah. And you know what? I want to add Congressman Mike Gallagher. He's the chairman of the House Select Subcommittee on the Chinese Communist Party. I mean, he proposed, he actually made an inquiry about the Huawei and ZTE's role in the CCP Cuba-based spy operation. And remember, there are former U.S. congressmen or senators or legislative staff they've been lobbying on behalf of Huawei and the ZTE, which is the CCP's second largest telecommunication company in Capitol Hill. They try to stop U.S. placing sanction against those companies, and now those companies' technology are being used by the CCP to target America.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nicole and the new federal state of China appears here on the Wayne Dupree Show on Mondays, Friday, and Thursdays. And I think we want to break into some other stuff next Saturday if you have time. But bring you on for a little bit so we can get everybody up to date. Finally, of a whole lot of more about what's going on. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have questions, please send it to us. Send it to us because Nicole and her group will definitely come up with the answers. Last parting shots before you go, Nicole.
I just want to say thank you. And although America has been slow walking in its self-defense against the CCP, but but it's never too late to do the right thing. But it's just, the slow walk really cost American people so much. We lost over 1 million American people's life to the CCP virus, and the Chinese people are also suffering every day, and Mao School has lost the freedom. But if we don't fight, we will be left with nothing. We will lose America and then lose the entire world, because America is indeed the last stand on earth. So keep fighting, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nicole Tsai of the new federal state of China. You can check them out at www.nfscofficial.com, and also share that website with your friends and family and on your timeline. They got videos over there. They got memos. They got messages. They got background information, everything to get you updated and educated and informed about what's going on. Nicole, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Got it.
See you next week. Have a good
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets, sleepwear, dog bed.
Whoa, Charles. Everyone now can get MyPillow products at huge discounts at MyPillow.com. That's right. Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our 3-in-1 sale. We're bringing you exciting new products, overstock specials, and closeout deals you won't find anywhere else. For example, when you buy one of our brand new MyPillow 2.0s, you get another one absolutely free. And with our overstock sale, you save 50% on our luxurious Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.99 for the best sheets ever. And with our biggest closeout special, you get our all-season slippers for only $35. Or our sandals and slides for just $25. Quantities are limited, and once they're gone, they're gone.
It's a crazy world out there, and we're facing more uncertainty than our country has faced in a long time, if ever. And the most important advice that we can give you and your loved ones is be prepared. Most people don't realize they need something until it's too late. Whether it's a natural disaster, a sustained power outage, political upheaval, or God forbid, war. You need to be prepared. Don't put yourself in that situation. Have food and water on hand to provide for you and your loved ones during the worst of times, and then pray you never need it. Thankfully, we have just the solution for you. Heaven's Harvest has everything you need to prepare for the unexpected. You get prepared, and you support a pro-America Christian company that shares your values at the same time. Everyone wins. And the best news is, you also get discounts on emergency survival foods, heirloom vegetable seed kits, water filtration and storage kits, and loads of other survival resources, such as guides on how to grow and preserve your foods. So get ahead, be prepared, and survive with a company that shares your values. And we have you covered with great discounts. Go to heavensharvest.com and use promo code RVM to save 10%. Again, that's heavensharvest.com and use promo code RVM to save 10% on your order.
And I have this very distinct memory. I was in the Oval Office with Dr. Anthony Fauci in the Situation Room with him. I mean, this man made you think like your days were numbered. All of our days were numbered, all 323 million of us, But then I go to Florida. I met you on a tarmac. And you were saying some pretty bullish things about opening the state. I was a bit taken aback because it was such a contrast to kind of the groupthink I was hearing there in Washington. But you earned the ire of the left on your COVID response. Now you're getting attacked from the right. There were a variety of responses to COVID. Why was yours the right one?
Well, we made a decision to buck Fauci, buck the medical establishment, buck the media, the left, and some Republicans, and say, you know what, people in Florida have a right to work, the businesses have a right to be open, kids have a right to be in school, and we're not going to impose mask mandates or the like or vaccine mandates. And the minute we did that, we became the focal point for freedom in this country. If you had been in like the Florida Panhandle in May, June of 2020, it was like COVID didn't even exist. People were making their decisions. The state was booming, and really we never looked back. And so we got it right in there. And it wasn't just people moving here to live, people visiting, the way our economy responded. And I just had to look at the data. But you know what you had to do, Kaylee? You had to be willing to stand out there all alone, because I didn't have a lot of backup for that. Fauci was attacking everything Florida did. There were other bureaucrats attacking us. The media was attacking us. But you know what? My job was to stand up for the people that I represented. I didn't know what that would mean for my political future. But quite frankly, you got to be willing to sacrifice that to be able to protect the jobs and the liberties of the people that elected you. I stood my ground. We stood in the breach. And the state of Florida is better as a result of that.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's no doubt about that. I came to Florida a lot on the weekends. People don't know that. I left the swamp, and it was pretty joyful to be in Florida. I went to restaurants. I drove on the highways. Things were open.
That's not, no, they weren't. No, they were not. No, they weren't. You know what? Look. I understand revisionism. I understand. No, they weren't, Kaylee.
You were there, right? You were there. Tell them what you saw.
Yeah, exactly. At CPAC, we had to wear our masks, Kaylee. Come on now. We had to wear our masks when we walked into the steakhouse in Florida, Orlando. Tell the truth now. The restaurant was half full, Kaylee. Come on. When we flew into the airport, there's damn sure nobody in the airport. There was nobody in the airport during CPAC that year. So come on now. You know, I mean, you want to be in his cabinet, that's fine. But don't lie to the American people like that. I mean, we were down there. They had the mass police in the hotel. Every time we went somewhere, somebody was like, put your mask on, put your mask. We couldn't even go downstairs to the place because they had lines. They had the thermometer thing. Okay. The co-host, Angel, couldn't even go until she found. She said when she walked into the building, she was like, "I ain't putting on no damn mask. I said, "Okay, all right." I mean, and I wasn't gonna tell her to put on a mask, but we got to the place that we're supposed to go down, and they wouldn't let her go down. She said, "I got a medical condition." That's what she said. I got a medical condition. I'm okay. Well, we need to see the paper. What?
Damn, dude's calling you a liar.
Well, guess what? Then, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I look.
Eddie's very passionate about it too.
That's what we saw when we were down there for CPAC. Now, and you know we talked to the cabbie. We talked to the cabbie at the time, and the cabbie was like, "Well, we said, well, we thought this place is opened up. No, it's not opened up all the way yet. No, it's not opened up. But that's what they were selling. And another thing too, she said when they got down there to the tarmac, there was open up. Donald Trump, when did y'all go down there? Because when I saw the photo of him on the tarmac, he had a mask on. DeSantis had a mask on when he met Trump.
Can I just say, too, all this COVID talk is just so stupid. Like, everybody did terrible with COVID. Nobody has a strong position on COVID. And, like, there's so many more important things to talk about. Like, I'm not happy with what Trump did. I don't think DeSantis wins an award. Like, it's so silly that that's what they want to campaign on.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. That's a good point. Everybody blew that. Everybody blew COVID response. You know,
and plus Trump opened back up. Like the country was opened back up in June. Trump said open everything back up. So when did DeSantis open everything back up? Now we went to I want to say we went to CPAC in February. It was in February.
The year after it started.
I'm thinking it was a year after it.
Because remember that COVID started at CPAC in February. Remember, 2 people had it. That's when we were wide open during CPAC.
Right.
But right after CPAC, they said the 2 people that had attended CPAC had got it. And then it went downhill from there.
Right.
See, and I think the DeSantis campaign bringing up all this COVID stuff is just a distraction. I mean, yesterday, actually, a listener to the show sent me a link for this fundraiser he's running this weekend, which is ridiculous. So tomorrow, Friday, June 23rd in Washington, D.C. at 5 o'clock, $1,000 a head fundraiser in Washington, D.C. The hosts, which are listed, one of them is Mark Lampin. Mark Lampin is a lobbyist for Moderna, so the COVID vax, Abby V., who is a maker of puberty blockers, Lupron, which turns out costs $7,000 a month for that puberty blocker. And then Juanita Wihan, I'm not sure how you pronounce the name, a Chinese state-owned maker of semiconductors. So the more they get us debating about, did DeSantis do better on COVID or did Trump or did whatever, we're not going to talk about things like, why the hell is Ron DeSantis hosting a fundraiser with Big Pharma, Moderna, with puberty blockers, and with a Chinese manufacturer of semiconductors?
And check out the low information viewer. I mean, you look at some of these things and it's like, you're the one that got duped, not us. Yeah. You're the one that is brainwashed by the government. I mean, it's sad to watch.
It is.
It really is. You can believe that all day long. It's not true.
Ain't no mountain high enough on Getter. I know on Rumble says, Wayne, always appreciate your show. You guys always look at the big picture and you don't get stuck on the mainstream. It's always bothered me how we're to think a certain about people of a country. It's not about the country necessarily. It's about the government.
And the reason DeSantis is doing that is he's trying to use it as a weapon against Trump. Right. He wants to use it. He wants to hang the COVID response on Donald Trump.
Right, on him. And hide, well, yeah. He wants to look. I watched Florida. I watched exactly what he did. He was late on his responses for reports. He didn't want the reports to come out. He didn't talk about the reports. He made up his narrative about what it. And I watched the whole thing. I mean, and it's like, okay, well, I mean, if that's, I always knew it was, I mean, I always felt it's going to catch him sooner or later. I know Trump is going to talk about it. Trump's going to talk about it. I mean, I don't even have to say anything about it. Trump will talk about it because
he has already. He's talked about it already.
Yeah, he knows. But then, like you said, you said that he said he was asked would he support Trump
as the GOP nominee.
So what I would say is this. When you are saying that Cuomo did better on COVID than Florida did,
his feelings hurt.
You are revealing yourself to just be full of it. Nobody believes that. And you know why? And you know why I know that? Because I remember in 2020 and 2021 when he was praising Florida for being open, saying we did it much better than New York and Michigan, and everyone was coming to Florida, and that we were one of the great governors in the United States. And he used to say that all the time. Now, all of a sudden, his tune is changing. And I would just tell people, do you find it credible? Do you honestly find it credible? Would you have rather been in New York during COVID under Cuomo regime, or would you rather have been in the free state of Florida? And I probably can count the number of Republicans on my hand in the nation who would have rather been under Cuomo in New York, and we know that. And so these are just frivolous criticisms, but in some respects, I think it shows that, if you have to make that argument, then you probably don't have very good arguments, because the reality is everything he said about us for years, about how strong we were, how good we were, how we've delivered for the state, those happen to be true. And now he's trying to backtrack because he, views he needs to do that. And he's saying things that are false. And so that's fine if you want to do it. I don't think people are going to buy it. I don't think it's going to ultimately matter in the end. I think we're going to be successful. But at the same time, you get into these processes. It's like, I want to beat Biden, okay? I will do that. I will get that done. And I think more importantly than that, I will actually bring these policies for a landing and get it all done up there. You know, it's one thing to promise things, but when you don't deliver on it, then it's like, okay, then they get in and then they get to do stuff by the time they get in. So we'll do it. But it's a important process. And, you know, you respect the process and you respect the people's decisions, how this goes. But I'm very confident that those decisions are going to be positive for us.
He talks way too much.
I was going to say, let's talk about this, because the question was, will you support President Trump if he is the Republican nominee? Simple yes or no question. Like, instead of answering the question, which he still didn't after talking for 5 minutes, like, it's a yes or no question. He talks about COVID and Cuomo and this and that, and he never just says yes or no. And you compare that to Trump, where when they asked Trump, like, are you going to support DeSantis? He's like, I haven't decided. I don't know. Move on to the next question. Like, but DeSantis is like, they're bearing the headline. Like, if he's coming out saying he's not going to support Trump, that's freaking huge. That is seismic. That should be.
That is establishment.
Crap.
That's establishment uniparty,
Yep.
which is what he is through and through. You know, and you know, it's laughable to me. He tried to say that Trump didn't deliver anything during that diatribe. What about the peace treaties in the Middle East? What about oil independence? The guy delivered a hell of a lot more than any other president in my life.
Everybody was saying there at the time. A lot of the things that Trump did in his 4 years, it's almost like he was like he squeezed 8 years into 4 years.
And he had a whole team of his own people against him.
Yeah.
And he had the other side against him and the communists. I mean,
that's another thing that gets me is that you can go after Trump like that, or he's going after Trump like that, but you're not going after the Republicans for trying to stop him. Okay.
It drives me mad.
I mean, how can you do that and just blame it on Trump? You're just blaming it. Oh yeah, well, you know, he spent close to $4 trillion. Did he, or did the Republicans shove that stuff up on his desk with promises? But you don't want to report about your backers. You don't want to report about your donors. The same thing about Christie. Christie does the same thing.
Did you see what his thing is? What the hell? I got to remember it. No, I can't remember it. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's a workout regime, isn't it? Like, be healthy like Chris Christie. Well, you know, and it's funny because Wayne brings up a good point, and Hutch touched on it too. And I think this is an important thing to understand. We've all been businessmen. We've all been independent, run our own businesses. A lot of people watching this show have run their own plumbing shop or their whatever job you do. You've run it. Every single person watching this show has gone into something. It completely shit the bed. It did not work right. You lost a bunch of money. Things went bad. And then you're smart enough to go, you know what? That really didn't work. I'm not going to throw out the whole thing. I'm going to tweak what I'm doing and go back at it.
Mm-hmm.
I might do a little different. I might spend more time on this or that and that sort of thing. President Trump has failed in many businesses. Overall, he's been largely successful.
Right.
He's not afraid to go in, try stuff.
Yep.
And
He don't quit. He don't
quit. Right. He's going to keep going until he figures it out. And I got to say, you listen to interviews, and Don Jr. is a little more open about it than President Trump. He went in there and he didn't know all the Republicans were going to screw with him.
Neither did we. And
Neither did we.
We reported on it for years and didn't know.
Sure did.
Right. And so he went in there and they talk about the hiring decisions and all that. And now I want to give him another chance because I think the man's a businessman and he's smart enough to go, okay, listen, I got to sit down with everybody I interview and go, here's the deal.
Yep.
You sign up for my administration, you're going to be ostracized. They're going to try to sue you.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, look at Michael Flynn, look at George Pop. I mean, just go down the list of all the people that have been attacked being part of that thing. Are you in or not? Because if you're in, this is what you're going to face, but this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And when he went in last time, he thought he'd show up and these Republicans would be like, yeah, let's build a wall. This is great. Like,
Yep,
what do you mean 5 billion?
Yep, I
Like,
thought that,
well,
yep.
that should be done today. You know, he didn't know the uniparty. He didn't get it.
No.
And I can't hold that against him because none of us did either.
No, he revealed it to us, to the country,
Right.
to the country. He instantly made Mitch McConnell an enemy, you know,
Right.
and Paul Ryan and Chris Christie, all these people running against him. The question was asked of the presidential field, would you fire Chris Wray as director for the FBI? Chris Christie was the only one that said no. He wouldn't. Even DeSantis said yeah, but Chris Christie, no.
Well,
I don't know what his iron in the fire is here.
Well, Chris Wray, I mean, he gave Chris Wray to Donald Trump. So, you know,
go.
Honestly, I got to say, looking back at Chris Wray, he's turned out to be a really terrible hire.
Yeah.
But if you go back and look, like he had all
He
the
checked all the boxes.
makings.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Durham. Durham just, when it came down to it, Durham didn't want to hold the FBI accountable.
And
That's
Barr.
what it came down to. He wanted
And you can go all the way back to Louis Freeh.
Right.
You know, this guy put thousands of dollars, was it $1 million? $100,000 in Joe Biden's grandkids' trust.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's sickening. This whole
But
thing.
look, Barr is the same way. It's like we think that these people are going to do what they said that they were going to do, and then they get up there,
And then they don't.
Except for Trump.
Right. Well,
most of the stuff.
Yeah, most of the stuff. Because
He was. You got to understand. He was throttled.
I know.
People come up and say, "Well, you didn't. He didn't stop." Ann Coulter is disgusting to me anymore.
Yeah, she was.
He didn't stop immigration. He said he was. He's lied.
Yeah.
No, the Republicans that you support stopped it, Ann.
Again,
I was going to say that's what's remarkable is like when they blame Trump for the wall not getting built, but they won't blame the members in the House or Senate.
They were
Your darling Paul Ryan came up with an omnibus over $1 trillion twice.
Right.
In 10
literally, like Paul Ryan, you're on Fox News.
Yep.
Let's come down on the desk. You were the Speaker of the House. Why didn't we send out a single issue bill that said, here's $5 billion to build the wall? Paul Ryan answered that question.
Three
because
months.
the Koch brothers told him not to.
Right.
3 months after Trump got in, Omnibus Bill 1 was signed.
Yep.
To save the military.
7 months after that, Omnibus Bill 2 was signed. Ladies and gentlemen, I have never seen in any presidential first year, let alone term, that you get 2 omnibus bills in the first 10 months. I've never seen that before. And the Republicans, the second one, or was the first one? No, the first one, they were behind Trump. Remember, all those Republicans were in the Rose Garden, and I was like, Caesar, watch yourself. Watch yourself, man, because Brutus is close. But I mean, I was like, okay, we just complained about Barack Obama and stuff, and they just put okay, all right, well, we'll see where this goes. And then that other omnibus came up there. I was like, oh man, please.
That's the one that Paul Ryan went over and
he ran to the White House.
Whispered in Trump's ear.
Yep. And I knew we were in I knew we were in trouble with Mitch McConnell from in the first June or July of Trump's term, because Mitch did that press conference. Well, Mr. Trump thinks that we move fast up here like that, and he doesn't know how things move. He thinks that they're a little bit slower. I was like, oh man, here we go.
They blocked his recess appointments.
They're gonna slow. They handcuffed him in August. You know what? I never forget that, and that's what pisses me off is that these people get up here and they blame him, but they forget the little the stuff that happened that hamstrung him from getting his stuff done. They put those plastic things on him and zip tied him in August. They passed legislation before they went on vacation, y'all.
And that's why we've been talking about for months and months, years now. Like, those rhinos got to go. We need to send Trump not just back to the White House, but with MAGA members of the House and Senate. And frankly, we need to scare the shit out of any rhino Republicans that are running. And we need them to say, we need to support this agenda or they're getting rid of me next.
Listen to everybody listening in Wyoming. Wyoming, you have a shot to do something. Yep. Senator Barrasso, who is a snake. He's just like Mitch McConnell. He's like third or fourth in line. He needs to be primary. That guy got to go, just like Mitt Romney in Utah. Got to go. You guys got to do it. You know how to do it. You did it with Liz Cheney. Muster the same forces. Hageman, Representative Hageman, get the word out. Barrasso got to go.
And we've seen enough. Like, we've been sharing who were the people that voted for the omnibus bill. All those people got to go. Like the last omnibus bill they passed, who are the ones you're going to see the Republicans that don't support impeachment of Biden? They got to go. We know it's not going to win, but at least it's going to give evidence to the American people of what's happening, and hopefully something comes of it. You know what I mean?
Some of those people voted for the omnibus bill for the wrong reason. There are senators, Republican senators, that will vote for anything that funds the military.
Right.
And that's why Tom Cotton voted for it. Tom Cotton needs to be primaried.
Yep.
You can't have a mindset like that. You can't be passing $1 trillion stuff. Your kids aren't even going to be alive to pay for that.
He wears dresses, by the way.
Don't they all?
No, but I remember the House, you can go back and check it. The House passed, the House gave Trump $5 million for the wall in July before they went on vacation of his first term. $5 million. Trump wanted 25. He gave him $5 million. The House, Paul Ryan. It got stuck in the Senate before they went on vacation. It got Mitch McConnell wouldn't bring it to the floor. Now that was in August. They didn't do anything on that $5 million in September when they came back. October, November, December. December is when the tax cuts came up. But Mitch McConnell held that wall money up for that long. Okay. And they also, they promised him in October about the wall, but they still didn't deliver the wall stuff with the second omnibus bill. Then President Trump was talking about the DACA in December about, he did the tax cuts, but then something else was coming up. Spending limit, the spending,
Debt
ceiling was coming up in February.
You got a photographic memory, man.
We don't forget nothing.
Not that.
Dates and stuff.
That and what was to use JR's term, what was crazy about the December thing was the level of what they were going to give up in December. Mitch McConnell, Donald Trump wanted to do the DACA, and they it kept on raising up and down, and then they were complaining, "Oh, we need to get another, need again." The reason I'm saying all that is because when they did sign it in February, I think it was in February, it was what it was originally in December. So they did all that news and everything from December, January, February, all that's only to sign what it was originally in December. And those are Republicans, ladies and gentlemen. It was Republicans. And what is Schumer thought he had a voice in it too, but that was out of it. Ladies and gentlemen, all this stuff that I guess I'm saying it all to say this. All the stuff that they're throwing up at you about Donald Trump didn't do this and Donald Trump didn't do that, do not give a pass against the Republicans that didn't help or that tried to stop him. That's why we're here to tell you exactly what's going on with both parties, because it is a uniparty and they are created to stop you, and they're damn sure trying to do it through President Trump. JR, give me some last thoughts.
Well, hey, first, folks, thanks for tuning in. Just a few things. One, pray for Matt Couch. For those who listening in our time slot, hopefully he's back real soon. Second of all, for Wayne Hutch, great week of shows, man. Thanks a lot for having me on again, and we appreciate him. For the audience, and for really everybody, go outside, spend time with the ones you love. There's a lot going on. It's easy to get buried. Unplug. Spend time with your wife, your kids, your pets.
Do I have to?
What's that? Oh yeah, you're stuck.
And don't do what I know some of you are going to do. Don't go somewhere nice and peaceful and look at your phones.
Right.
You got to get away from the phones for a little. You got to get away from the phone. That's the key.
Yeah, that is key. That is.
All right.
Have a great weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I had a great week. I'll be missing a little bit in the future, not a whole lot, but like next Thursday, I got a meeting. Got to get my gas installed, stuff like that. But I appreciate it. Thanks for viewing. Share the show, and have a great weekend. Don't call me.
That's right.
Don't call none of us.
We ain't got no money to get locked up over the weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, Red Voice Media. Check them out.